My pleasure to introduce you to Ferry Zandvliet. And I thank Paul Deverman again for putting this together. I'm not going to give you too much on his bio because I want him to tell you your story. But think about a gentleman who was on a career path. He had his master's in hospitality. He's from the Netherlands. But then decides he's going to take another step in his career path and just happens to be, after a 20-year absence, in Paris at what I would call the wrong place at the right time. I think you're going to find that the application of his story is very much germane to our professional and personal lives. So without any further ado, Ferry, Rotary is yours.
Thank you. Is it on? Yeah. My name is Ferry Zandvliet. I came all the way from the beautiful city of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. I was born 40 years ago, at the same day as my twin sister Wendy. But I'm not going to bore you with my family stories today. I would like to take you back to 2015. I was a physiotherapist at the time, and I was about to start my own practice, when a few of my friends asked me if I wanted to join them on a road trip to Paris. And when there's beer and music involved, I'm there. It's been 3.5 years already. It was a Friday the 13th in November 2015. We had a nice car ride from Rotterdam to Paris. We arrived quite late in the afternoon, around 5:30. We dropped our bags off immediately at the hotel, and we went straight into a bar to have some nice pre-rock show beers. The rock show that night, it was being held in a famous Bataclan venue in the center of Paris, and it has a bit of a Moulin Rouge kind of vibe. There are a lot of red curtains on the wall, and it fits approximately 1,200 people. It's a lot smaller than the room we are in today, actually, so I have that image in mind. And it's a great rock show. The band that's performing are the Eagles of Death Metal. They're from California, and they don't play death metal. It's easy rock and roll music. And they play an excellent rock show. There's a good vibe in the room. People are having a dance. There's some beer flying through the air at some stage. When out of the blue, I suddenly hear some loud noises behind me. What started as a party turns into a war zone when 3 terrorists with Kalashnikovs entered the room and started shooting. And minutes after I'm having a beer and a dance, I suddenly see people getting hit and die right beside me. You will die here. That is what my instinct, my reptile brain is telling me. And it was a really, really intense emotion. I knew for 100% that I was going to die that night. But as you all can see, my instinct, my reptile brain had it wrong that night. I managed to escape the venue, my friends also. And doing this, we have to crawl over dead and injured bodies that were laying across the floor, making our way to the exit without, visible injuries at least. Have a good look at this photo, because 90 people, 90, got shot to death that night, and over 300 were hit by bullets. So 1 out of 3 got hit by a bullet that night. Running through the streets of Paris, I have no idea where to go. I had lost my friends, and the lady on the left on this photo, her name is Veronique. She sees me running, and she invites me into her home. She offers me shelter, a couch, a blanket, and a cup of tea. I always say that's my refugee hideout that night. I contact my family and friends in Holland, and I spent the whole night with her and her family. So already a beautiful experience after almost being shot to death. These total strangers that are opening up to you. The next morning, it really hit me what had happened the night before. Then I found out that there were several attacks in the city of Paris that night. There's a bomb that goes off at a soccer match, and there's several shootings at restaurants in the Bataclan venue area, making the death total that night of that Friday the 13th 130 in total. When you experience something like we've had experienced, your surroundings also react to that or project stuff on you for that matter. And at the end of 2015, we had a lot of refugees coming to Europe, and people would tag me in Facebook posts like this. Like they thought, oh, you've survived a terrorist attack, you probably hate refugees now or Muslims or think we should hashtag close the border. Well, the opposite is true actually, because we talked about it in the car driving back the next day to Holland after the attack, that we also felt like refugees a bit that night. I mean, we were also in a war zone and trying to get away and get back to a place where we would feel safe. And it also made me realize that the fact that I was born in a country where this isn't a daily thing, that was like winning the lottery. I won the lottery 40 years ago and I was never aware of it. And it's, I mean, if you would have a look at this is what refugees go through. Those are real people, they're not actors. I appreciate so much more the fact that I was born in a country that's free of war, and that's something I will never ever take for granted anymore. And it's so easy to judge these people. You know, if we can try to imagine what they've went through, you know, as a refugee, but we can never really, because this is like a bad action movie. So don't judge those people. That's the point I was trying to make. Something totally different. This is one of the terrorists that is shooting at me that night. His name is Sami. And what I've been told is that he was being raised in a very progressive family. His father is a movie maker that travels all around the world. He speaks over 5 languages. But he suddenly sees a change in his son's behavior when he turns 25. He's letting his beard grow. He's going to the mosque like 3 times a day, something he would never do before. And have a good look at him, because this is the same guy who's standing in front of me that night in the Bataclan. I remember seeing him. He was shooting at me. Well, can you blame the parents for the radicalization progress of their son? Well, I personally think not. I hope you guys agree with me. You might wonder how I have all this background information about him. He's not alive anymore. He blew himself up that night at a rock concert. But I went to his house. I visited his family. Yeah, I felt really sorry for him. Not only did he lose his son, but a lot of people were blaming the parents for what their kid had done. You know, they said they knew more about it, or they raised him to be a terrorist. Not me though. But a lot of people were getting really angry after I had this encounter. I got, especially through Twitter, a few death threats, how I dare to talk with families of terrorists. But I mean, we have to keep talking to each other about this topic, I think. In the beginning, after the attack, you know, my whole life got turned upside down, and I was like this victim from, why does this happen to me? That's also the person that I used to be in the past. I was always angry with everybody. If I had a setback, it was never my fault. It was my girlfriend, my family, and my colleagues. I always refused to have a look in the mirror when something bad happened to me. And after this, I'm sure that it happened that night in Paris, but being confronted with the best that mankind has to offer after almost being shot. This is the lady who took me into her home. Something happened in my brain. She planted the seed in there and made me have a different look on the world. And I didn't notice that change in my behavior, to be honest, in the beginning, but my surroundings, they were opening up to me, and they said, there's something different about you. You're just you're a lot nicer, a lot more open, a lot sweeter. And the funny thing is, when you open up, your surroundings are opening up, because suddenly I would have talks like this on a daily basis, and my surroundings never opened up like that. And I now realize that your social environment is usually a reflection of who you are. And because I was always angry in the past, I never want to be angry anymore, at people at least. Because it's just wasted emotion, I think. And I think the reason why I feel this so strongly is because that night in the Bataclan, I saw what it can do to you if you're always angry with everybody. I don't know if this is the case, but I like that way to have a look at this ordeal I went through. When this new career of mine took off, this public speaking career, I was majorly influenced by this guy. His name is Antoine Lery. He is from Paris. He lost his wife in the Bataclan attack. And the stories like that, they really get to you. And unfortunately, I've spoken to a lot of people who had lost someone there that night. And he has a beautiful message to the world. He wrote a book, and the title is I Won't Give You My Hate. The fact that he's a single father now with a small child didn't make him an angry person. And I thought, well, if he's not angry, then I'm not going to be angry. I'd lost nobody. I'm still alive. And sometimes you ask yourself the question, you know, why am I still alive? Why am I not one of those 130 people? And that's what I'd like to address to you guys today, that I'm so thankful to be standing here. I've never thought this story would take me to San Diego. You know, it has been an amazing journey so far. And I'm speaking to the most diverse crowds. You're the biggest crowd in the United States so far, so good job. And I talk to police-related crowds a lot, to universities and to the little ones. And they are the most fun to talk to. You guys are fun as well, don't get me wrong, but they're also pure and open in the way they ask questions. They ask questions that you would never cross your mind to ask me that. But they just want to know and ask. It's really it's a thankful job to do. I created my own victim support group a while ago because there are quite some people in Holland that have survived terrorist attacks, and we go back to 9/11. We are a close community online with, and when you survive a terrorist attack, you go to the psychiatrist, you talk to your family, but it's different when there's someone sitting across the room that has been through the same thing. You know, it heals a bit, and you suddenly understand why you're acting like an idiot in the beginning. We all do, apparently, after we survive a terrorist attack. Here we are back again with the father of Sammy. His name is Azedine Amimour. He also created a victim support group for Muslim families who had lost their kid to terrorism. Because especially the mothers, they are in a traditional role in the housekeeping, they're not on social media, and they're like, what did my kid do? I raised him to be a good human being, and he brings them together to talk to each other. It's amazing work. He also invited me on one of his meetings, and sometimes it feels a bit like I'm showing off, look at all these awesome things I'm doing, but I refuse to play this victim card, that card that I always played in the past, when I had setbacks. They were never my fault. The thing that I've gotten the most out of this whole ordeal is that I immediately went back to a concert already a week after the attack, but the anger thing that triggered like this snowball reaction of only positivity. But I also realize now, and in the past I didn't, that you are the one who's responsible for your own happiness. And you are the one who has to step out of this victim, let go of this victim role, which a lot of people find really hard when they have setbacks. They can create a whole identity around this one setback they had. And it's just a waste of your life. I mean, I've experienced it. It can be over like that. In the end, you are the one who decides that, if you're happy or not. Yes, you. And my life has gotten so enriched now. I mean, I'm traveling all through of Europe, sharing my story. And this is my first reach out to the United States. Because the United States, they didn't call me, so I called you guys. And here I am today. And I'm 2 weeks into my 1 month tour to the United States, and it's an amazing journey so far. I've met so many awesome people and new friends for life that I'm sure. You were supposed to see that slide, that photo. These are my buddies, Bob, Frank, and Dexter, when we were in Paris again. It had been 20 years since I went to the city when the attack happened, and now I've been like 20 times in 3 years already. It's a beautiful city, please go there. Nothing will happen to you. And I want to point out this beautiful lady again, Veronique, my refugee hideout that night. And I know what you all are thinking, what a cute couple, right? But unfortunately, she is married. No, they became like instant family to me that night. It's hard to put into words what these people mean to me. They will play a huge part of my life, the rest I have left, I'm sure of that. I'm going to close with my talk with this photo that was taken exactly a year after the terrorist attack with Bob, Frank, and Dexter. And surround yourself with people that are uplifting to you, and these guys are very uplifting to me. Filter negativity and angry people. That's how I've dealt with this ordeal the past 3.5 years already. And I will never forget that there are over 120 people that are not alive anymore any day, but I've never been this happy. Thank you so much. Thanks. Wow, thank you.
That doesn't happen very often.
Thanks. I never know what to do when people do that. Thanks.